Hey everyone, Pastor Brian here, and I'm the family pastor at High Rock, and I was in 7th grade when a really cool movie came out called Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. And it was about a dad who was an inventor, and he created a machine that he thought would shrink like packages and other things, but accidentally his kids figured out actually how it really worked, and they shrunk themselves. So if you haven't seen the movie, you find out after they shrink themselves, they end up out in the yard by accident, and then they have to come back in as these shrunken tiny little kids who are terrified of things like bugs that are bigger than them, or like the lawnmower that accidentally goes off and is like gonna chop them up or something, or like the dog that is huge that comes looking for them, or like the sprinklers go off and they're like getting bombarded with floods and everything. So they're so tiny and small, and they're trying to fight their way back in. They finally get an ant who's bigger than them, but they ride on an ant to get back home, where they almost get eaten by their dad, and when they fall into his cereal by accident because they're so small, but just in time, he sees them. Whew! Well, this crazy story from this movie that I really liked when I was in 7th grade, I tell you that because the story that I picked from our stories today was that I wanted to pretend like I was Jesus and to tell the story about what it was like for him to come to earth. And I think of that movie when I think of what Jesus did, because it's like he didn't accidentally, but on purpose, he shrunk, right? He got shrunken down. He shrunk himself. He chose to be shrunk into a human being. Like he's God, and he shrinks down to become a human, but not just any human, not like a full-grown human. He actually goes all the way down to become a baby. And so as I pretend to think and imagine what that was like, it's like God, huge God, shrinks down and like he's born. And at first I'm thinking he comes out and his first thing is probably like, it's cold. Why didn't I make warmer temperatures in this part of the world? Like, I mean, it was been freezing cold. And then from there, like he starts hearing sounds like in the first time for his way, and like the bah, like, oh, that's a little startling as a little baby. And then moo, like that would freak you out really big. And like, thank goodness I made cows to eat grass and not babies, because that would be terrifying. But there's other bigger things like lions and tigers and bears, and he's God, but now he's a baby, and he has to think about, whoa, so scary. And then he looks up, and he's going to see his parents, his Mary and Joseph, his mom and dad, and be thankful and yet scared at the same time that they're going to have to care for him. Like he created them, and he knows their struggles, but he's thankful for parents, even though they're not perfect, that they're going to be the ones that take care of him and help him and make it possible for him to grow up and do the things that he wanted to do. And finally, shepherds show up, and they're worshiping him, and they're so excited he's there, and he's like, oh, that's right, that's why I came. And later the wise men come, and they give him gifts, and they're so thrilled for what he represents and who he's going to be for them. And I think about that story of this little baby who gets shrunk like in the movie, but chooses to do it to show his love for us. And I think, wow, what an awesome God. And I love that story. And I can only begin to imagine what it would have been like to be that huge God coming down all the way down to a tiny, like, little ant. If we had to squeeze ourselves into the body of an ant, maybe we could kind of understand that or something. I don't know. But what a great story that reminds us of the ultimate story where someday that little baby grew up, right, and became a human, and then gave himself and became God again. And the Bible says that one day every knee will bow and every tongue confess that he is Lord. And that's the ultimate ending of the ultimate story, where we get to meet this baby who came down to save us and love us. So that's my story, friends. And I hope you enjoy telling your stories, and Merry Christmas.